The basic problem with drinking water in the villages of this country is that access, distribution, extraction, installation and maintenance are not in the control of the user communities. It is still decided by city-based professionals and engineers. Where the control of the source and distribution of water for drinking is in the hands of the rural communities, it has been demonstrated that it is cost-effective, water is not wasted, and villagers are willing to pay for the service. This simple lesson was understood hundreds of years ago in rural India, where common sense dictated the need to collect rainwater where it fell and to use it wisely. Over the years, for reasons primarily influenced by vested interests, so-called modern technologies have been given preference over existing traditional technologies for harvesting and storing rainwater. The result is that rural India has suffered on many fronts. The groundwater in villages is being pumped to towns miles away to preserve an exorbitant lifestyle where water is wasted on washing machines, maintaining gardens, showers, and to flush toilets. All this is obviously done without any dialogue with the village folks, who have to walk miles to fetch drinking water for themselves. This has resulted in overpumping of the groundwater and the village wells drying up, which in turn has resulted in water becoming brackish and unfit for human consumption. Whereas open wells used to provide sufficient drinking water earlier, the sinking of deep tube wells using modern rigs has resulted in the overconsumption of water by rich farmers for irrigation. This again has resulted in a lowering of the water table, thereby drying up thousands of open wells. In Radoli village in the Jaipur district of Rajasthan, bone deformities have become increasingly common. The problem has been linked directly to the growing concentration of fluorides in the drinking water. Discoloration of teeth is also common, a direct consequence of excess fluoride in the water. The excessive concentration of fluorides is caused by the falling water table. The government has failed to identify the problem. Short-sighted government policies have focused on the extraction of water and not on harvesting and conservation of rainwater. It is the month of June, and this tank in Radoli village is being deepened before the rainy season. The villagers know there is a virtue in this, because apart from maximizing the collection of rainwater, it will also help recharge the groundwater. Techniques for recharging underground aquifers, as well as for the more conservative use of rainwater, have existed in India for many centuries. One such technique is the use of deserted open wells lying unused in villages. Rainwater from the surrounding slopes would drain into this open well, often constructed in the tank itself. This simple technique ensured that water was collected and stored where it fell, with little being lost to surface runoff. This is drought relief work going on in Mamuni village of Bana district near Kota in Rajasthan. Come summer, and this is the color of water which comes out from the village hand pumps before they dry up completely. Water scarcity reaches such a state that the Saharia tribals who inhabit Mamuni are forced to migrate out of the region every year during summer. The only solution that the engineers seem to have come up with is drilling deeper and installing more hand pumps or laying more pipelines. None of this has worked. Sankalp, a local NGO, has focused on enhancing the water storage capacity of the region rather than merely accessing deeper and deeper sources of groundwater. The outcome of such simple rainwater harvesting methods is to be seen to be believed. This tank at Mamuni had unprecedented levels of water after the rains. Tilonia village in the Ajmer district of Rajasthan has 26 hand pumps installed. Out of these, only 2 to 3 hand pumps work by the time the hot season arrives. Once again, this is due to the excessive extraction of water from the groundwater reservoir. The need is to artificially recharge the groundwater over a period of several years. The surface water was diverted and collected in an unused open well in that area. The result was that over 5 million liters of water percolated into the ground, thereby revitalizing all 26 hand pumps. There are additional ways in which rainwater harvesting takes place. Tankas, for example, were developed and perfected in the Barefoot district of western Rajasthan's desert. These are underground structures that can be used to store rainwater. The basic idea is to channel rainwater that falls on a rooftop into the tanka, where it is stored and can be used at times of water scarcity. While many tankas are privately owned, a number of such structures are also community managed. These are commonly built within school compounds. With 2 to 3 classrooms in a primary school, the surface area from which rainwater can be collected is considerable, resulting in a large potential water runoff which can be channeled into the tanka. A key benefit of having such tankas is that attendance at village schools increases dramatically.
हम सुबह 4 बजे उठते हैं और फिर पानी लेने जाते हैं और सब बांटते हैं एकदम, और उससे कुआं में बहुत ही भीड़ भाड़ जाती है और कुएं में पानी बहुत कम मिलता है, और हम फिर जाकर रोटी साग बनाते हैं और फिर हम तैयार होते हैं और फिर हम लेट जाते हैं, इसलिए हमारे लिए पानी आना चाहिए। और हम बोतल में लेकर आते हैं पानी, तो वो भी जाता है और फिर गुरुजी के पास छुट्टी मांगकर फिर जाते हैं। हमको हमारी पढ़ाई की खोटी होती है, इसलिए हमारे लिए टंकी भी होना चाहिए और नल भी लगाना चाहिए और हैंडपंप भी लगाना चाहिए और मीठा पानी भी होना चाहिए, जरूरी होता है।
The Social Work and Research Center Tilonia is assisting in building a number of individual as well as community tankas to demonstrate the value of adopting such inexpensive technologies on a larger scale. It will take several years of good monsoon to perennially drought-proof all the 108 villages. But at least the mindset is slowly changing to collecting rainwater where it falls. The impact is clearly visible on revitalizing the dry hand pumps, on recharging the open community wells, and demonstrating how communities can be less dependent on the government when it comes to the location of a tanka or nari, when it comes to low-cost construction, and when it comes to maintenance with community contribution. For the cost of one expensive down-the-hole drilling rig, it is possible to collect 12 million liters of rainwater in over 100 rural schools and give employment to 1,000 people for 4 months. The task of constructing tankas, deepening and desilting tanks should be left to the communities to decide, and it should be a task carried out every year, not as an emergency measure, but as a regular exercise, since so many years have already been wasted neglecting these vital community assets. The move must be towards reducing dependency on urban skills and encouraging the use of local knowledge, rural skills, and local materials. so that eventually the people collect, maintain and manage their own water for drinking. The time has come to listen and learn from what has been tried, tested and proven over hundreds of years in India. Channel surface water to unused open wells so that groundwater can be recharged and hand pumps revitalized. Construct individual and community-owned tankas to store rainwater. The choice is clear. To drought-proof villages, the long-term solution is to collect rainwater on a war footing.